Recently, I tried to make an all-inclusive video of every company involved in automated construction. Since posting that video, I realized there were a few important companies that I had forgot to mention. I also found a bunch of other organizations contributing to the industry in smaller ways. 3D Printcrete is a company from Africa. To my knowledge, they are the only company on this list originating in Africa, and you can see their printer printing a round object here. 3D PLODDER provides one of the more cost-effective printers on the market. For only $15,000, you can buy this 3D printer. The only drawback is that it has a smaller print volume than many of the other printers on this list, but they do carry larger models. 3D Printhuset built this house called the Bode project with a Cobod printer in Copenhagen. You can see the house is printed with an exterior and interior layer. Between those layers, there are hand placing supports that add strength to the wall. 3DSD is quite different from the rest of the companies on this list. Their printer spits out structural domes by spraying shotcrete outside of this pre-made dome structure. AI SpaceFactory dreams of printing on Mars, but they also have projects taking place here on Earth, like the TERA project. This is just a concept rendering that they've done. However, they've also started testing printers to experiment with the best ways to make these renderings a reality. Here's a prototype for a Mars habitat. They test it by filling it with water. If any leaks out, then the radiation and harmful atmosphere in Mars would seep into the building, making it unsuitable. Armatron does not share a lot of video of their printer, but they do talk a lot about their patents. One unique patent they have is the ability to print a layer on top of another layer that has a segment in the middle to make it easier for them to connect. Arup has a medium-sized robotic arm printer that prints these smaller wall segments in place. Then the printer is moved to where the next wall needs to be printed, and when they are all complete, together they form the walls of a house. PAM is a company with a lot of construction experience. You can see they're starting to get their feet wet with construction printing by creating this video to help educate some of their audience on how 3D concrete printing works and the benefits that it has to offer over traditional construction methods. The biggest things they touch on are that you can reduce CO2 emissions and allow for more customization. Be More 3D uses just one layer in the walls of this 3D printed house. You can see them stopping and starting it up again to make subtle adjustments. This shows that this printer is not fully automated yet. Besix is a construction company that has split off a branch called Besix 3D to specialize in 3D printed construction. Bruil is a really unique and interesting project. They plan on retrofitting this building with 1 million meters of printed concrete in order to make it look completely different. They hope that this different look will make it more future-proof and make the residents more happy to live there. CarpaCorp is printing this column with a unique printer head that seems to be connected to the corners of a gantry-style printer with the wires that you can slightly see from the video. Concrete 3D Lab Gent has put out this video of their printer making letters. Compared to the other projects, this is a smaller scale application, but helpful nonetheless. Dubox is a collaboration project between Witeeven Bos and the University of Eindhoven. You can see them demonstrating their printer here. ETH Zurich takes a totally different approach to automated construction. You can see them tying rebar here with a robot. Generally, this would be done by hand, and it's very time consuming. Having a robot do this can be a very cost-effective way to decrease the amount of time a project can take, and also decrease the labor cost. FormForge is another company that has advertised its interest in 3D printed construction, but here you can only see them working on a small project with their robotic arm printer. Genesis Dimensions is one of the newer companies on the scene. You can see their robotic arm printer making a U-shaped print that's only one layer thick without any support structure. Geopolymer Institute has been studying the use of geopolymers for 3D printed construction. They've been testing this project for quite some time, and using it with 3D printed construction allows for many benefits over traditional concrete. Here's the Imprimere AG Big 3D printer. I'm not sure what it looks like. The only footage I found was this, which appears to be some type of extruder spitting out concrete while a pottery wheel spins below it. But I could be totally wrong about that. Kamp C is a construction firm that's starting to get their feet wet with 3D printed construction. You can see some of the projects they've started to work on in this video. KKrane appears to have a gantry style printer. You can see their printer head printing out this D. Kuka is a robotics manufacturing system. They make a robotic arm that many of the companies on this list use for their 3D printed applications. Nagami is a group of architects that are working on 3D printing large-scale objects in plastic. They use PLA to make this 3D printed chair. Oak Ridge has put together this rendering of a large outdoor structure to be 3D printed. PackHunt.io differentiates themselves by demonstrating the utility of their software. Many other companies keep their software under wraps, but here you can see how easy it is to adjust the settings on their printer. Purdue University has published this relatively unimpressive video of a small-scale print. University of Eindhoven has this gantry-style Rohaco printer, which is different from the robotic arm-style Rohaco printer that had 6-axis movement we saw in the last video. UC Berkley has made 3D printed large-scale object by printing many small 3D printed objects in PLA and assembling them together to create one cohesive unit. As you can see, it is assembled by hand and is probably more of an art installation than a practical project. If you made it this far in the video, I hope you learned something new. Let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe to my channel for more videos about automated construction in the future.